Hello there everyone and welcome back. It's time to play with Chaos once again, and I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to make this fleet work, I'm going to say. It has some really good promise with the damage potential, the limited times I tried playing with the Styx, but when you compare it to maybe the Retaliator, which has a lot more potent type of weaponry, close range weaponry at that, you would almost argue this might be better all around. But we're going to try playing with the Styx a little bit more, since I do have the mobility, I have the long range harassment, kind of global presence with the fighters, but it comes down to essentially figuring out how to get the most out of these fighters. For if I'm dealing like the Tau Cruiser fleet or anything that has innately a lot of fighters or bombers, I'm probably going to have a lot of time, or not a really hard time rather, trying to get damage in. Because all I really have for my main weaponry is 2 lance turrets, which is basically just the same damage as a single battery, a single broadside battery of Acheron, to give you a comparison. And what is it? Just 2 sets of missile turrets, a heavy macro turret and then a missile turret, which can be decent damage I suppose. I would need lock-on stance to reliably hit at such extreme range though. Only the bit of the problem. So I don't realistically expect to do a whole lot directly with those kind of weaponry, especially when you factor in the shields absorbing so much of that damage, but we're going to see if we can make this work, and maybe, if I'm so lucky, I might try to disable most of the ship's point defense, so that way it allows for a lot more aggressive bombing runs later on as the battle progresses. Since sure, I don't have the weaponry, but if the game plays out to be more objective-centric, since maybe I'm playing against Eldari or something like that, then maybe it might play out well in that case. Really hard to say. And also, I'd chosen the World Eaters, although I, again, don't know if that's like the best choice or not, because really, I want to enable the assault boats to be able to contribute in this battle, and having a little bit of extra boarding potential might be the only way to make them actually useful, outside of like against fleets like Mechanicus or anyone that has low crew counts. So maybe there might be use there, but otherwise, I think we'll be relying a lot on the bombers, I fear. I feel anyway. But let's get this going. Alright, Necrons. This is possibly the worst possible matchup for me, just because of how convenient it can be for them to destroy my bombers and fighters. I cannot have them going into the big swarm, which really sucks because a single one of my bomber squadrons might get heavily crippled or shot down just by their accessible fighters that every single one of their capital ships have access to. So, I don't know how to truly engage this, if I were to be serious. Because I can't just launch fighters to kind of shoot down their point defense, because their point defense isn't really their main strengths. And actually, let me try spraying these out into 2 different groups. Since, at least for now, I don't know if I want to commit to that or not, but it allows me to play the objective game a little bit better. Since I do argue that my damage potential is going to be almost non-existent. Almost. It again comes down to what they're fielding. I don't need Disruption Bomb. Plasma Bomb can be really good here. It could be. And Emission Dissipator seems kind of unnecessary due to the limited range of their weaponry. But, let's see. This is boarding action for all ships, and these are technically the same thing. One just requires ships with launch bays. So maybe I can get some decent boarding damage in? Hard to say.
Moving to those coordinates.
Now it just comes down to... Either way, I'm gonna have to be...
Your orders.
I do want a boost, if I'm honest about that, because I'm not really punished due to their limited range. until they jump me. It's just the frigates I don't want to boost with carelessly if I can help it.
Seized a strategic area.
Actually, I'll send a frigate up to at least identify him.
Strategic area.
And then, well, really, all I could do is just play it by ear and hope I can maybe get some damage in. And I want to destroy the deck because that's where the Star Pulse generator is kind of connected to. If I'm so lucky to actually damage that.
Setting course.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
I'm not worried about the fighters, but that makes my life a little bit easier. If only slightly.
To the slaughter.
Oh, they got scourges, okay. So that changes this dynamic a little bit.
We stand ready.
If anything, that makes my life a little easier. I just gotta remember to recall my fighters.
As the War Master wills.
Because these can do hull damage. That's the big thing to note about
Seized a strategic area.
their ships. At least about their fighters.
Show us our victims. Setting course.
Alright, did I recall everything? Okay.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
And let's see, you have Star Pulse Generator, you? Oh, you're... So they only have one Star Pulse Generator is what that tells me.
Set engines to full ahead.
Oh, and I don't even see the lightning link, surprisingly.
War Master.
But I will happily take this damage on the bomber while I can get it.
For the ruinous powers.
In another 4 seconds, more bombers are going to join this fray.
We'll follow your command. But now,
Ah, dang it.
swift death squadron seeking prey.
Get these fighters recalled, although I accidentally recalled the fighters that were supposed to defend the bombers.
To the slaughter.
That was badly timed there.
Enemy is seizing one of your strategic areas.
So all I can do is try and wait for another opportunity then.
Strategic area.
And recall the fighters in a moment.
Wills.
I could have done lightning strikes, I guess, to be fair there, but
Engines to full ahead.
we're deflecting a lot of their damage potential.
We stand ready.
And I'll just have you try and steal the points from behind their back. Just gotta be careful. The tomb ship is dangerous with the particle whips.
Setting course.
And I do not want to have to deal with that.
Follow your command. But now,
Okay, these are only single squadrons, so I don't have to worry about them too much. They should die really easily,
powers.
I'm hoping.
Retros activated.
I don't want to have to launch multiple fighters, but... So let's just use them offensively. Oh, never mind. I'm forced to do that regardless because of the Scourge.
We are unstoppable.
Okay, frigate there. I could probably destroy you. Which is probably what I want to try and do.
But now,
And which one has these fighters? I want to figure out which one launched these fighters. So I can recall them.
reporting.
One Star Pulse Generator is gone. I want the Scourge fleet gone, so that way I can actually launch these bombers.
Moving to those coordinates.
Why are you not boarding? I want you to lightning strike this thing.
I cannot master. Setting course.
That should hopefully kill off the crew and enable its death. And you have no more Star Pulse Generator. That was an interesting choice.
Powers.
Didn't do nearly as much damage, but I'll take it.
Engines hot.
Just don't lose the bombers, ideally.
The War Master wills.
That's what I would like right now. Because their damage is pretty good. We just need to destroy this frigate. Just so it doesn't cause any more problems later.
Show us our victims.
Now, can I destroy the deck on this tomb ship?
Reporting.
It's going to take a little bit of work, but... And I know the cruiser's in there.
Engines hot.
And even more so, it does not have a Star Pulse Generator.
Retros activated.
The
So,
enemy has accumulated
this is gonna really hurt for you, I'm afraid to say.
We are unstoppable.
You should not have done that.
To the slaughter. We'll follow your command. For now.
Now, another couple more bomber squadrons will be the end of this poor little cruiser.
Moving to those coordinates.
Although the boarding results are probably not needed, because again, this is why I like to spread my boarding from the ships I'm going to damage, if I can get away with it. Since this is going to die, basically, the same time it's actually going to lose a third of its crew.
For the ruinous powers.
And these bombers are going to seal the deal.
Retros activated.
You have accumulated 25% of strategic points.
For the War Master.
Alright, so we found...
We
what is it? The
stand ready.
Scourge. Since it's the flagship, I kind of would like to kill it. Since destroying this tomb ship's going to be a little trickier.
Fires unleashed.
So let's unleash... oh, here comes the fighter squadron. Hopefully I can deal with that. If I escort the bombers in, then I should be able to shoot that down before it kills my bombers, right?
As the War Master wills.
That's kind of what I'm gambling on a little bit.
Retros activated.
The enemy is
Without having to launch more fighters.
strategic areas.
And this is a perfect window to just bomb you as well.
Doom fires unleashed.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Actually, let's shoot down... let's intercept this fighter squadron if I can get away with it.
Moving to those coordinates. Adjusting rotation.
Okay,
Follow your command. For now.
I want to board you.
For the War Master. Retros activated.
Alright,
Your orders.
let's destroy the Scourge, I guess, then, because
Engines hot.
this in theory should not be the best angle for him.
Doom fires unleashed.
Can I kill it right away? It'll be close.
Show us our victims. For the ruinous powers.
And sadly, I have nothing else on cooldown to really... because I don't see... the funny thing is, I don't see the nano cloud. I know they're launching it on me, but I don't actually see it, which is annoying.
Your orders.
Finish this Scourge off,
We are unstoppable.
and then board the tomb ship for me.
Our minions rampage through their ship.
Especially with the Awakening Warriors, that's going to cripple it nicely.
We stand ready.
Alright, combustion gauge is back up. Finish this thing off.
Activated.
Now, there's enough boarding there to really cripple this thing. And that jump didn't really do a whole lot, I'm afraid to say.
For the War Master.
We're almost there.
War Master wills.
I just hope I'm not ramming myself needlessly.
Show us our victims. Engines hot.
Because now we got additional boarding to kind of finish this thing off.
Your orders.
And
We'll follow your
I might as well
command.
try grabbing these points while I'm at it too.
Doom fires unleashed.
Deck's temporarily damaged, so they have no star pulse generator. This should seal the deal. Ah, so close.
Powers.
I would have loved that thing to explode in a nice splash of bomber destruction.
You have accumulated 50% of strategic
But-
points.
I would say I may have gotten lucky there, just because of the fleet composition. If that was 2 tomb ships, or even 3 cruisers that had star pulse generators, realistically I should never be able to get those bombers in. Since after all, 3 star pulse generators, I would almost have to brute force my way into doing damage with a single bomber squadron. And then, I can't remember exactly how long the cooldown is for a star pulse generator. Maybe 3 minutes? And if I don't follow up with more bombers to get that damage in, well then I'm just I'm just basically losing that battle no matter what. But at least the boarding damage seemed like it was significant. Again, I just have to make sure I'm boarding a ship that I'm not in a situation to just straight up kill with my bombers though. Otherwise, it's a little bit redundant, a little bit of overkill. Unless I'm lucky enough to take advantage of the temporary critical hit for killing off the first third of their crew. Alright, Tau. On the plus side, I am incredibly well equipped to deal with their seeker missiles and fighter combo, assuming they're going with all 6 cruisers. The downside though, again I hinted at already, ooh, excuse me there, I hinted at it already that I don't really have any direct weaponry. So I'm trying to think on how can I get aggressive with my fighters and bombers, since whoever tries to be aggressive with their ordnance essentially is going to lose this fight. It almost feels like it anyway. Since if I try and launch my bombers at them, they're going to have their point defense and cruisers to help shoot down my fighters eventually. Even if technically I have the bigger fighter count with... Yeah, I basically have 8 cruisers worth of like Tau cruisers. Well, what am I trying to say? They have 12 fighter bays, I have 16. So I should win head on in any fighter on fighter action, but if they wait until I try and attack them, then their point defense is just going to make the difference. So, in essence, I can't really commit to any engagement, I would argue, with my own cruisers. But again, that comes down to if they are using a 6 cruiser fleet. I may be dealing with Custodian, maybe some auxiliary ships in the Kroot and Demiurge. That's always a possibility. And I honestly don't think fighting at range is going to help me a whole lot, so I argue Stasis Bomb is not really going to do much here, but it's possible. It's possible it could have merit, since the main problem with using Stasis Bomb against Tau, all the weaponry is on the Prow arc anyway, whereas Imperial Navy, Chaos, and pretty much all the other factions have them, a lot of them, tied to their broadside. So if they're chasing me, they can't attack me at the same time. Not nearly as effectively, and that gives a lot of value in the Stasis Bomb, even if it doesn't really trap them, but more slow them down. But in this case, I don't expect it to work as well, but again, we're dealing with maybe a less experienced player.
Reporting.
So we'll see how this works out. Although it would be nice to see how it fares against the 6 cruiser fleet, even if that is arguably like a bad matchup for me. I would argue, for the reasons I already said, basically. And they are recklessly boosting forward, so I cannot grab the third point as much as I like to. And honestly, I want to start killing these ships while I can. Any like free kills I could get, the better. Since my opponent is not really concealing them just yet.
As the War Master wills.
Alright, so we'll see what happens. Let's not burn our combustion gauge, because that's going to be a big deal. And just get what kills we can. Even if these frigates are kind of unnecessary. Let's be honest, killing a frigate isn't all that exciting, but it's something I can almost guarantee my bombers are going to connect with. Alright, they do have a custodian. At least one. So I do need to group up or my fighters are going to get overwhelmed. The same mindset as I kind of mentioned before. I want to have my fighters deal with their fighters, but with the addition of the point defense to kind of help me. And actually I don't want to boost because that does slow down when these fighters dock. In all honesty, I may want to burn retros to help speed that along. So I can launch them again. And they're just using the gas clouds. Which, or rather the asteroid belt, which isn't really a big deal. Hell, I may even kill this frigate if I'm so lucky. I doubt it, because yeah, they're using the asteroid belt nicely, but that's not too much of an issue, because I'm going to reveal them in a moment. If anything, I just want to kill that frigate. More kills,
Retros activated.
more free damage, and it's the only thing I spot, so that works for me.
Victims.
If I kill it, that'd be the best case situation.
Hot.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Okay, so they may be silent running there. I hear boosting at least. Yep, they're actually boosting. That's fine by me then. Kill the frigate.
Powers.
Kill this thing off. I would... Actually, let's just launch fighters. That'll help seal the deal.
We'll follow your command. For now.
Another couple hits.
Your orders.
Otherwise, just gotta watch for seeker missiles and all that. And if anything,
Retros activated.
just wait for scanner pulses too. Actually, I could just boost over here and have enough momentum, and that should help deal with the railguns a little bit too.
Enemy ship sighted.
If only slightly. Especially since I could turn off the boosters to help dodge these railguns a bit better.
We stand ready.
Now I just gotta watch out for the critical hit, especially since, well, I'm no longer marked, but an engine critical hit's gonna suck.
We stand ready. Swift Death Squadron seeking prey.
Okay, so that's unfortunate timing there, but
Moving to those
we'll be in the gas
coordinates.
cloud, they'll be secure, and hopefully,
Enemy ship
yeah, that's what I want. Just bomb these two.
Doomfire's unleashed. We are
And if I can hit with torpedo, that'd be amazing.
set engines to
As I
flare
said, that would be amazing.
as the War Master wills.
Okay, you died easily enough. Recall the bombers, cause why the hell not? We have plenty of time, although I am gonna lose a bomber squadron.
Engines hot
Just take our time.
for the War Master.
Since my shields are fully charged, I have no risk of losing anything.
We stand ready.
And hell, if only I noticed that earlier, maybe I could have launched bombers on there. But we can do the same thing they're doing, but faster. I should have waited until the mark expires, like it did just now. But I still have full shields. This is not a concern for me.
25% to strategic points.
Now we just have to
The
force them
enemy
out of their
is seizing
comfort
one of
zone.
your strategic areas.
And with the extra range I have, that is possible.
We'll follow your command. For now,
Because I killed, what, 4 frigates?
your orders.
To just their, well, none. And they're burning fighters too, so I am not worried in the slightest, although
Seeking prey.
I do want to scanner pulse this cruiser to prime it for its eventual death.
Show us our victims. Swift Death Squadron seeking prey. Reported.
Alright, so if we could keep these alive, that'd be great.
Master wills. Break them.
And no more scanner pulse will really blind you quite a bit.
Detected.
Okay, they're launching all their fighters, so this is kind of why I'm worried about getting aggressive there, but we are doing damage at least.
For the ruinous powers.
And we're going to steal this point pretty quickly, but let's not lose this frigate ideally. And I'll have this stasis bomb to help slow down their railguns. Bit of an odd decision, but I can pull it off. Especially since I'm going to be standing still for a little bit. Only thing I don't know is... okay, both my fighters at least survived. That's all I can really tell you there.
We'll follow your command. For now.
Otherwise,
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
let's just grab the points and force them to do something about it.
For the ruinous powers.
You have seized a strategic
And
area.
ideally, I would like to have this frigate try and spot them, but we lost one frigate doing that maneuver. And actually,
Death Squadron seeking prey.
let's have... Oh,
We are
it helps if I control my fleet properly, but...
reporting.
yeah, let's just kill off their fighters.
For the War Master.
Get these covered shields. We're gonna cycle our ships so that way they hit each other. And my point defense are gonna help out in this regard too. At this point, I just want to kill off their fighters to the best of my ability. I just wish I knew which fighter was which, so that way I can recall them. Only thing I kind of wish right now. Alright, so that is notable damage there, but we are going to get this point, and we are going to be in a gas cloud in a moment. So let's take advantage of that quickly.
You have seized a strategic area.
Alright, I have 3 points. You ran out of combustion gauge at a bad time, but you will be protected.
Enemy ship sighted. Setting course.
So now, let's just steal the points from under the nose, because as soon as we can steal the points faster than them. We just gotta be careful.
As the War Master wills.
Oh, we can deal with this easily enough. Fighters will intercept. I should not get revealed.
For the War Master.
And then I'll recall them promptly.
To the slaughter.
If they're gonna hide in an asteroid belt, well, I don't need to worry one bit.
Enemy ship sighted.
Not one bit. I just gotta steal the points again faster than they can. And then I, at some point, catch up to the frigate because I'm grabbing the points that much faster.
Enemy ship sighted.
A bit of... Now, I gotta be mindful of experimental railgun without a doubt, because this is a terrible angle for that.
We stand ready.
And keep an eye on combustion gauge,
Enemy has accumulated 50% of
because I will be
points.
temporarily revealed. Okay,
We are unstoppable.
now's an opportunity to try and engage this
The
thing.
enemy is seizing one of your strategic areas.
I cannot, Master.
The enemy has seized a
I would have liked to have
strategic
gone
area.
after light cruisers in that instead, but this could work. It could. I need to somehow be able to punish this, though.
The enemy is seizing one of your strategic areas.
Enemy ship sighted. For the ruinous powers.
Actually, what I'm going to do is just
Them apart.
grab this here, shoot down the fighters. We got some really good hits on the custodian. I will happily accept that.
I cannot, Master. We'll follow your command. For now.
Now just board it, and, well, sadly I am going through a stasis bomb, so maybe this is not all that exciting.
Unstoppable. Your orders.
But
Activated.
let's get you in the gas cloud. This is sloppy, I won't lie, but
Setting course.
you can hide in the gas cloud there and try to do some more damage, because I kind of can, to be honest. We've seen that I can get this hits.
Repair the damage at once.
The enemy has seized a strategic
You'll be protected in a
area.
moment.
Moving to those coordinates.
Recall everything. Destroy this flagship, or this light cruiser.
You have accumulated 50% of strategic points.
That is one ship down. Let's try and force this a little bit more. Ideally by stealing points.
Your orders. Setting course.
Now, can we do this again? Because I think my opponent's running out of fighters, with that said.
Enemy ship sighted.
So kill 2 of them, and then I think we can go for the killing blow in a moment.
Reporting.
I want to say... Well, it's going to be hard to do now, dang it.
Reporting.
You have seized a strategic area.
Yep, everything got shot down because it was the custodian, of course, so
Coordinates. We stand ready.
there's a bit of the problem. I can't engage, but
We are unstoppable.
we can do damage still, and I have no more fighters on the flagship, so keep that in mind.
Warp strike successful, Master. For the War Master. As the War Master wills.
I want to just keep grabbing these points, if I were to be honest.
We stand ready.
And I can do damage, I'm just going to have to commit to launching all my fighters, I think, at this point.
For now.
I think it's the plan here.
Enemy ship sighted. For the ruinous powers.
Destroy the light cruiser, cripple them.
Show us our victory.
I'm probably being a lot more passive than I need to
The
be.
enemy has accumulated 75% of strategic points.
Setting course.
Now hit the light cruiser, that's all I really want.
For the War Master.
And even then, this is a perfect example of the fighters kind of just being overwhelmed right now.
Reporting.
Okay, this is going to be good.
As the War
If I
Master
do this
wills.
right, this can be really good. How many bombers do I have, though?
Dead claws away. Enemy ship sighted. Moving
Well,
to
I
those
should have just
The
actually
enemy has
tried to
seized
bomb that, but
strategic
that works.
Your orders.
You know, just steal the points from them.
Slaughter.
Because that thing is limping, and call to arms is a big deal, too.
Engines hot. We stand ready. Set engines to full ahead.
Alright,
Setting course.
I would like to steal these points, but we have the movement to outrun these seeker missiles.
Retros activated.
You have seized a strategic area.
For the ruinous powers. Retros activated.
Alright,
We'll follow your
so we
command.
avoid that damage quite well.
Swiftnet squadron seeking
Now, let's bomb the hell out of this. Although,
enemy
I'm only
ship
going to have
sighted.
one bomber squadron is the problem. And dang it, my flagship, I messed up with the control there.
Prepare my ship.
We are not out of this yet, though.
The enemy has seized a strategic
Not yet.
area.
I just gotta make sure they don't get a killing blow. It's really what it comes down to.
Retros activated. Your orders.
Although you're gonna suffer a lot of damage in a moment, so let's try and protect you.
We stand ready. As the War Master wills.
Alright, so
Our
that may have single-handedly been how the reason why I lose this
You have
match.
seized a strategic
Mess up my control with the flagship.
for the ruinous powers.
So crew's basically dead there.
Set engines to full ahead.
Now I gotta figure out what has fighters and what doesn't.
You have seized a strategic area.
So reactivate that and then I'll just kill the crew again.
Show us
Cripple
our
it further.
You have accumulated 75% of strategic points. The enemy is close to victory by strategic points.
We'll follow your
I cannot lose a ship is the big thing.
reporting.
Which is easier said than done, I suppose. But I would like to... dang it, my bombers aren't doing anything either.
We stand ready.
Okay, they are now.
I cannot, Master.
Just get in the gas cloud and protect yourself. Simple as that.
Departing.
And I forgot about my frigate a little bit too.
Unstoppable. Doomfire's unleashed.
You were still good, you can even repair,
At once.
but now they're trying to seal the deal,
Enemy ship sighted.
which we cannot allow.
We are unstoppable. Show us our victims.
I want to launch fighters, but they're still on cooldown.
Your orders.
Nope, this is over. It's looking like it now. If only I had been a little more aggressive, dang it.
Breaches detected.
Because again, my only weapon are my fighters and bombers. And again, if I had been faster or more diligent on grabbing the points, because I messed up horribly with my flagship, and that would have made a big difference too, dang it. So at the end of the day, that was my loss. Alright, more Necron, and it remains to be seen if they are utilizing the, was it, Devil Tomb ship or even the 3 battlecruiser type of fleet. Well, really it doesn't need to be triple battlecruisers. I think maybe they can get away with 4 cruisers. I could be wrong there, because the Harrower, which with 4 cruisers of those, they are cheaper because they do not have a star pulse generator. We will see if they actually are dead or not, because really, my strategy is blunted so heavily if they do have star pulse generators. Since I don't have enough weaponry to reliably quickly hit their deck, well, I tried to tip them off to what was going on. We'll see if they can take advantage of it now. Since I honestly would argue that Necron may have the easiest time to defeat my fleet,
For the war
just because
master.
how much I rely on the bombers. And actually I want to destroy the deck. That is ideally what I want, because that's what the Star Pulse generator is tied
We'll
to.
follow your command for now.
And
Show us
honestly,
our victims.
I do want to launch fighters so that way I
You have
can
seized
see
a
what is I'm up
strategic
against
area.
potentially.
Swift Death Squadron seeking prey.
Because I don't want to launch bombers yet. Oh, I didn't want to launch fighters from you, but I guess that's what I'm getting.
You have seized a strategic area.
Now I gotta be ready to recall them immediately.
We stand ready.
Every fighter I can save is a big deal.
The enemy has seized
Because if
a
nothing else, they
strategic
help
area.
me to bait out some of those pulses after
Your
all.
orders.
Let me see if I can even grab this point if I'm so lucky.
For the war master.
That would be ideal. And not much, there is not much else to really say if I'm so honest.
The enemy
It
has
just
seized
comes
a
down to
strategic
figuring out
area.
what their fleet is, and they could jump on here really quick, but at the same time, it's only a single ship.
To the slaughter.
So that's very easy to overwhelm, I want to
Setting
argue.
course.
It's when they're grouped together I'm going to have a hard time.
Orders. Enemy ship sighted.
So that's a harvester, so you have a star pulse. I go the same speed as your fighter, so I'm
You have seized a
hoping
strategic area.
this gets intercepted. And I want to see what the rest of this fleet is.
Reporting.
I want to believe that...
Moving
Oh,
to those coordinates. Enemy ship sighted.
so is that a Secum? That's a Shroud, so let's kill that.
Engines hot.
And ideally, don't get my
As the war master.
bombers killed if I can help it.
We stand ready.
And ideally I could just board this. Oh, and your deck's completely destroyed and you don't have the upgrade. Oh, you do have
Retros activated.
You do have the Tesseract Crypt, so... Oh, there you go, that's more like it. Sadly, I think that means I'm gonna lose target lock in a moment. But I do have 3 points.
We stand ready.
And let's recall these fighters before they die. Ruiner and a Harvester, so 2 Star Pulse generators and then regular macro cannons.
Setting course.
And I'm gonna be ready to pounce you in a moment.
Reporting.
In fact, let's see if our frigates can spot you. And your engines are crippled.
Boom fires unleashed.
What I need to do, though, is make sure I stagger my bombers still.
We stand ready.
Because after all, that thing still has star pulse generators. I can't get too complacent. Although, let's see, you're going to intercept my fighters? Surprisingly, no.
Enemy ship sighted.
Interestingly.
Doomfire's
So let's just kill the ship off then. And deal with these frigates. Because I can still do some good boarding with these upgrades.
those coordinates. Reporting.
Oh, you hit in a gas cloud, did you? I'm wondering what happened there. Nope, they got bombed.
Orders. Engines hot.
Alright, Shroud, it was nice knowing you.
Your orders.
Jeez, for a moment,
We'll follow your
I thought the
command.
Shroud silent runned on me there.
We stand ready.
It killed it so effectively with those bombers, I gotta say. Alright,
Boarding attacks
and your deck's
successful,
gone,
sir.
so maybe that's why you didn't Star Pulse? I kind of was wondering if you were gonna do that or not. Because I still want to kill this thing off. And with no engines... Oh, never mind, you're about to explode on me. Nope, get away from Tesseract Bolt. Do not touch the blazing orb of death.
Swift death squadron seeking prey.
Now, can we kill this off? Because you're a ruiner. Oh, you're the standard battle cruiser, never mind. So maybe my bombers could do something here? We'll have to deal with their fighters first.
Repair the damage at once.
And you... Aw. So no Star Pulse generator.
Victims.
I tried to tell them, I tried to hint it out to them, but I guess
For the War Master.
they didn't... I guess they're unaware? Maybe, I don't know.
Retro's
That thing needs to die before its health regenerates too much, though. It needs to die immediately. It's a bit of a waste of a plasma bomb, but games can be decided just for ignoring the possibility of that thing living. Just because of its means to regenerate health.
Your orders. Doomfire's unleashed.
Okay, let's keep that going. Star Pulse number 2.
Doomfire's unleashed.
And your deck's gone, so that was actually the only Star Pulse you had, so maybe I should have been a little more aggressive then.
For the War Master. For the ruinous powers.
And let's board you for good measure, now that you're limping yourself a tiny bit.
Show us our victims.
The
Flagship
enemy
is due to die,
25%
though.
of
It can't run
strategic
away, and
points.
it's been the focus of their ire.
We'll follow your command. For now,
And actually, let's set priority on you just in case.
our minions rampage through
And maybe
this.
destroy your engine so you can't do anything sneaky.
Doomfire's unleashed.
And if possible, protect the flagship while I'm in such a position.
We stand ready. Our strike team slaughtered them.
One more torpedo. We will stand our ground firmly. The flagship must live.
50% of
Stand your ground even though you are not loyal, like that of the Imperial Navy.
points.
And even then it's arguable about the Imperial Navy or the Imperial Guard in general just standing their ground against intimidating foes, even when you're winning. But I think that's decided. One more bomb is all we need. And in all honesty,
Show us our victims.
I don't know if I just am getting lucky with these Necron matchups, because that was 3 Star Pulse generators, so they have the means to just hard counter my fleet really damn well.
You are close to victory.
At least until I can get some critical hits on their decks, though.
As the War Master wills.
Then it starts to become a different story, but with how aggressive they can be with inertialess drive, that's easier said than done. Actually, let me just launch bombers on you. It'll force you to just disengage from the point. Since I want to believe the bombers are going to reach you before you get invisible, before you can conceal yourself.
We'll follow your command for now.
Alright. That settles that, I suppose. Now, is there anyone else? Nope, that's all of them. Well. I at least tried. Then, they had the one cruiser isolate for me, so that worked out well. And apparently I got a really early engine critical hit. I can't remember if I got a deck critical hit so early on with the initial bombers, but... yeah, I still feel like I'm just getting lucky. And it's hard to say if that's true or not.